Hello, everybody. This is Andrew Bott. Thank you for being some of the early crew to arrive at the event. It's greatly appreciated. I would love just to have, thumbs up in the chat or a hello in the chat saying that you can hear us, that, we're solid. So if you could go to the event chat and, give us, Jessica and I, a big thumbs up and a nice warm hello. That way we know that, that we are live. That would be amazing. But Jessica, I would love, thank you, Stepan. Awesome. Thank you, Harry. Just so you all know in the audience, we're on about a 10-second delay. So we won't know for 10 whole seconds. So if someone asks you a question, try to jump in right away. But Jessica Chen is tuning in all the way from Los Angeles. So please give her a big thank you for traveling all the way here to London. We really appreciate it. And Jessica is the CEO of Soulcast Media. She's also an Emmy Award winner, pitch coach. She has some things to say about her experiences, giving some advice in the new digital world of pitching and pitching in general, and even just chatting. So we're having a brief talk for folks who join late. If they're asking what's going on, we're having a 10-minute talk about Jessica's advice, and then we're going to get started right at 6. We don't wait. So if you are first to go, if you are Sumit from Gravitas AI, you're first to go at 6. If you're not here at 6, we're going to start with someone else. So Jessica, I would love to give you, some time to talk about some of the things that are important to you with pitching and with online communications.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much, Andrew, for inviting me here, and welcome everybody. I'm very excited to be here with you. As Andrew mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of Soulcast Media, and we are a communications agency. Andrew also mentioned that I'm an Emmy Award winner, and that's because before I started Soulcast Media, I was a television news reporter for the ABC station here in California. So my background has always been in communication, and it wasn't until recently that I started working with founders on pitching specifically. We do a lot of communications coaching for professionals, but we've certainly kind of, fortunately, we're able to kind of focus on founders and helping them with their pitches. So when Andrew invited me on to do a little intro before a lot of you guys pitch, I was very happy to help out. So I do know a lot of the folks who are on this are going to be pitching, which is very exciting. I hesitate to use the word nervous because I actually think it's actually very exciting for anyone to have the opportunity to share not only their company, but really for a lot of us, it's your passion, right? You're spending hours and hours putting this together. So Andrew, if it's okay with you, I'm just going to share a few quick tips of what to do.
Please.
So when I work with founders, I always kind of break up in terms of, what to think about the day you're pitching. And given that we're in this virtual world and having to pitch virtually, I've had to change it up a little bit, meaning a lot of the focus I talk to founders about is really about your setup here, where instead of you going into a conference room or to an office to pitch to the VCs, you're pitching from your home, probably. So some things to think about. And the good thing is we still have a few minutes before you guys officially start pitching. So, be conscious of your background. If you already have your place set up, okay, but if you're starting to notice, hey, maybe there's something distracting behind you, maybe quickly clean it up. Because here's the thing, you don't want the VCs looking behind you and trying to figure out what is that artwork up or what's that writing on the wall. You want them to focus on you and your message. So clean background is really important. The second thing is, depending where your setup is already, lighting is really key. And that's because, and I've certainly seen this, people who are presenting with their backs to a window, it creates a dark silhouette on them. And for the VCs, the people who are listening, they're trying to make out what you're saying, look at you, but you're all grainy. And again, that's distracting. And if there's a bottom line when it comes to pitching, you don't want people to be distracted. You want them focused on you and your message and your company. So if you can, situate yourself ideally in front of a window, but if that's not possible, make sure you have good lighting. A desk lamp is fine, just to make sure your face is lit up clear so they can see you. And there's also another reason why that's important, because because we're in a virtual world, we really can only rely on our subtle body language and our facial expression. So if people can't see that, they can't really feel, the expression and see the expressions you're making when you're doing your pitch. One other quick tip about your setup, depending if you're standing or sitting, there's actually pros and cons to both. And this is an interesting thought. And coming from my background as a television news reporter, typically the news anchors are usually sitting when they're presenting. But if you notice, the reporters who are out in the field, they're always standing. And generally, when it comes to presenting, it's encouraged for folks to stand while they're present.
Wow,
I don't know if anybody. Yeah, I don't know if anybody has the time to switch around if they want to stand. But the reason why standing while presenting is important is because it allows you to speak through your diaphragm and have that more gravitas and commanding voice. So, but if you don't have time to set it up, it's okay. You can do it sitting.
I don't have time to move everything. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Maybe next time.
You have a very loud and clear commanding
I think
voice.
if I stand, people they won't even be able to listen to me anymore. I think it might go too far. But for folks who are more soft-spoken, that sounds like killer advice.
Yeah, so standing's always good. And one final tip, Andrew, I'm just going to give real quick, for those who are going to be pitching, energy is everything. Think about it from the VC's point of view. They are, sitting and they're just listening to, people kind of go through the pitches. Once you have your turn, you want to make sure that you are energetic, you're excited, you're positive, because not only will that perk up the investors' ears, but it'll allow you to start on a really good foot. So energy is really important.
I love that. So in our 2 minutes, 3 minutes left, what would you say, especially in this new digital world of communication, is the biggest mistake that folks make?
Oh gosh, I think I really have to say the setup has always been something, because it's so distracting when people don't focus on kind of clearing up and cleaning up their background, that I do see a lot of people just kind of not so much focusing. And when we're talking about pitching, you are the focus. So when there's any distractions that can be taken away from you, I always say that that's, not very good. But again, just being mindful of taking this, of course, as seriously as if you were in person, being mindful of things that you typically wouldn't think of when you're working from home, but it's still just as important when you're doing it. Yeah.
I love that. So folks in the chat, you have 2 minutes to ask Jessica, or honestly 3 minutes, to ask Jessica questions. We're on about a 10-second delay, so type them in quick. She gives killer advice and has done this a lot with experienced people. I guess for folks who are jumping in and worried about being able to show warmth, because I know that I've read a few articles from VCs as well as other investors saying, it's really hard to trust someone that you haven't met. Like right now they're going through deals with folks they've already met, and now just closing the deals and finishing the deals and on video. For folks that you've never met, and you're doing all of it on video, how do you show that warmth? How do you build relationships when it's just, on video? What's your advice on that?
That's a really good question, Andrew. And it's true. Fortunately, video does add a level of intimacy that, for example, being on the phone doesn't allow. But I think, what I mentioned earlier, when it comes to bring that energy, treat it as if you're walking into a coffee shop and meeting someone for the first time. You're going to try to present your best self to the person. You're going to make sure that, you're excited to see them. And, later on, once everyone's done pitching, I'm sure there's going to be an opportunity for the networking, So when you're in that room and you're on camera with other people, attitude is everything. Absolutely. So, being positive, being happy, being grateful, that's all really important. And I think just as humans, everyone can appreciate that.
Sure. And I'll throw one in as well. I think valuing people's time is so important, and it's not happening at a lot of the online experiences that I go to. I see it so much where folks aren't taking it as seriously as they would a normal meeting. So there are folks that would never come late, to an in-person, talk. And yet they're not logging in early, in the online situations, ready to jump in. They're kind of dealing with tech issues. And I'm speaking from the side that we should also be understanding of each other. I think we're all going through a lot right now. Let's be clear. Like, we're not over here like trying to hassle you all about like your online experiences. But might as well put your best foot forward, right?
Absolutely. Just try your best. And like Andrew, like you just said, everyone's forgiving at this, crazy time. But, do the best you can. Try to make the best first impression you can, especially if you're meeting someone for the first time. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, Jessica, I just want to thank you for being part of the greeting party, part of the welcome party at the event. I think Jessica's going to stick around. Are you going to stick around and be around for the event and networking at the end and that good stuff?
I will, and I'm looking forward to chatting with everybody at the end. And good luck on everybody in your pitches.
Thank you. So Jessica will be in the networking session from 7:30, onward. And if you want to message her directly and ask for some advice or connect, you can just click the People tab on the right side, search for Jessica Chen, and you can send her a direct message so you can enter a new conversation that way. But Jessica, thank you so much. I'm going to minus you out, but I really appreciate you being here. Okay.
Thanks, Andrew.